everyone. Today's video we are going to make a 20-ounce stainless steel tumbler using the scatter method. It's a bit long, so I certainly hope you stay until the very end, and thank you so much for hopping onto my channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let's get started. As promised, I'm going to show you guys how to do a multi-size crystallization on this stainless steel 20-ounce skinny tumbler. I have already sanded this cup down and given it a nice wash so you can see sand marks on here. You want to do that with all of your cups. You definitely need to have them sanded, washed with Dawn dish soap, let them air dry, and they'll be ready for crystallization. I am using clear crystals and blue crystals, so I don't need to base paint my cup. For the adhesive that I'll be using Liquid Fusion and my rhinestone pickup tool to pick up the crystals. As for the decal, I'll be using this lovely number, which is a diamond, and that'll go on one side of the cup, and Shine Bright Like a Diamond will go on the other side. I'm kind of thinking I may not use this. I'm just not sure. It's kind of small on the word. Okay, I am back, and as you can see, I decided to go with a name on the tumbler as opposed to the other decal, and that's okay. I'm going to show you guys what I have here and how I do my scatter method, and why I have both color crystals out at the moment. I am working with size SS6, SS10, SS12, 16, and 20. And I'm also using those same colors here in the clear crystal. This is Sapphire AB. And I'm just going to give you guys, like I said, a really quick rundown just to get started. Then I will go into a time lapse, because otherwise this video will be 4 hours long, and we don't want that. So a lot of people will just do their name first or their decal first. When I do any method, whether it is scatter or honeycomb, I do my name and the surrounding areas at the same time, because I don't use a precision tip. If you are using a precision tip, you don't need to do this. But when you're pouring straight from the bottle, as I do, then you may want to make certain that once you put glue on an area, that you crystallize that entire area. And some areas can be very small and very hard to get to without a precision tip. So I'm just going to show you guys really quickly on, we'll start at the E, And I'll just do this small little area, then we'll go into that time lapse so that it's not, you know, such a long video. Okay, so here we go. Again, I'm using Liquid Fusion, and I'm just getting the glue all around the letter and also the surrounding areas, which is again why I have out both color crystals. So you want to start with that letter. So I'm just going to start at the very tip of the letter. These are the SS6 crystals that I'm getting on here, and I can already see that I'm going to need a little bit more glue because there are some spaces right here at the bottom of the E that are going to need glue in order for me to crystallize that. And you guys, please forgive the background noise. I've got a small child and she's decided to come downstairs to play instead of staying where I asked her to stay. So the joys of quarantine and parenthood. But okay, so for the name, I'm going to stay with the size that fits on top of the decal material. So as I stay within that size, I want to try and cover up as much of that decal material as possible. But the reason why we use the material to match the background of the material to match the crystal is so that if your crystal is not large enough, you still have that same color background for the aesthetics of the design. So this is why I have it this way in that blue, and why I use that blue that blue vinyl on the design, kids. So here we are. Okay. So this glue works pretty, you've got a pretty decent work time with this adhesive. So if you want to put some on and give it about 30 seconds to a minute before you start working, you can. I like to put a larger area than what I have here and just kind of work through all of that. But I am just gonna do this little area, like I said, for you guys really quickly. I'm being very careful as to which size crystals I pick up down here, just to make certain that they kind of fit within the area. Okay, so that is an SS20. It's a pretty nice size. But because this is scatter, there's really no rhyme or reason to it. You don't necessarily have to work with the pattern. It's just pretty much whatever I pick up. However, when I get in these tight spaces, like in that spot inside of the E, I want to make certain that I pick up the size crystals that'll fit within there and not throw off the design. So that's why on that little area I was being extraordinarily careful as to what I picked up and where I placed it. Whereas on the rest of this, not so much. Now my SS6 crystals are just going in to fill in these really small areas that are too small to just show the silver background, but too large to not have, too large to just show the silver background, and too small to not have something there. So I dropped in those SS6 crystals. But then I'm just going to continue to go around the letter. And as I continue to go around the letter, I work my way outwards onto the rest of the cup. And so that's what you really want to do here. And so we'll just kind of get through, like I said, this letter E, and then I'm going to switch into time lapse to give it a high speed, and hopefully you guys can kind of see what I am doing or what I have done here, and you can kind of grasp that concept. Like I said, I'm just going to do the outer edge here of the cup. of this letter L. And we're just going to do this entire section all at once. Okay, taking care to catch this little crack in here, because again, without a precision tip, you will have a very hard time getting your adhesive in that area once you've already done the name. So I just do it all at once. So once again, I'm going to go back to my little blue ones, those SS6 crystals right here, and I'll start popping those in here. Okay, and I will definitely leave the materials list in the description below, so don't worry about that. You guys will be able to see where I got my products from, and I will put those links there. So if anybody is interested, you can grab them. A lot of people always ask the same questions, some of the same questions, which are like, where do I get my crystals? You know, a couple of other things. What type of adhesives do I use? Can I use this adhesive for that? So I will do my very best to give you guys a frequently asked questions little list also, if I can not take up too much space in the description. I will give you that. I will also do my best to leave the glue where you guys can see the name of it in case you're watching a quick rundown of the video. You'll be able to see it. All of my products I either purchase through becreateful.com, or I will grab a few things from Amazon, which is everybody's favorite shopping place. So yay. A lot of people have expressed interest in the tray that I am using, and never fear, they will be out soon. And as soon as I release the trays, I will have them listed on my website, crystallizedbysparkle.com, and you guys will be able to get a tray of your own. It is great for sifting and sorting and flipping. If you can see, it flips the crystals over for you. So I love my tray. I have 2 of these and they're amazing. Okay, so back to what I was saying. You just want to make certain that you have those areas glued and ready for crystallization, so that makes it really easy to catch the entire workspace all at once. And it appears I may not have enough glue down here, so I might need to throw some on there. Again, I use my SS6 crystals or SS5 rather. I use them for fillers. So when doing this method, it's hard to get each crystal to bump right up against the next one. And so because of that little challenge, you want to have some really small ones to give you those little fill in the cracks. Kind of like back when my grandmother used to put clothes on the line, she would hang the socks in the cracks. So it's the same with the little small crystals. They're for your little bitty spots where a larger crystal won't fit. And you don't want just the backing of the tumbler to show. Okay? So that's what those are for. And again, if you missed it, I am using size SS6, SS10, SS12, 16 and SS20. That is my scatter pattern. That is what I normally always use. Sometimes I might, omit a size or two, depending on what I actually have in stock in the requested color. But you are definitely going to use a whole lot more of your smaller ones than your larger ones, because your larger crystals are really just your accent ones. So your 16s and your 20s, those are going to give you your accents and kind of give you that wow popping factor, while your 12s and your 10s are going to be the bulk of your crystallization. So you'll definitely need a lot of those sizes, more of those than of the larger ones. Okay, so I hope this is much easier for you guys to see what I have done, how I've done it, why I've done it, and that it actually makes some sense. I am going to have to pull out some more of my Sapphire AB to finish rocking this letter here. And so I hope this was what you guys needed to be able to see. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out some more of the smaller crystals. I need a lot more of the 6s and the 10s to finish filling this in. I will put you guys on high speed, and I'll see you once this side is done and we flip over. How about that? Okay, see you in a few. I've gotten just down to the last decal, and the reason why I didn't want to do this part completely on high speed was because I wanted to give you guys just a tad bit more information on when I am crystallizing around a decal with this particular glue. Again, it is the liquid fusion, and this particular glue, like I have said, is very wet. I know that doesn't make sense. Like, glue is wet, right? But this is a thick, wet glue. If that makes any sense, even like the simplest bit of sense. But because this is a thick, wet glue, you've got some good work time, and it does take a little bit to dry. So there are some things that I do while working, especially around the decal, because I'm working with two different colors and I don't want the crystals to slide. When I'm doing the scatter, they can slide, I'll move them, what have you, it's fine. They can get tighter or whatever, or looser, and I'll just drop the little ones in the cracks. But when you are working with the decal, you really don't want for your crystals to slide on your glue. So that is why I wanted to come back on with you guys instead of just finishing this out and then moving to the final stages of this project. So what I have beside me that you guys can't see, it's out of the camera, is a space heater. And my space heater's on. I'm always really cold, and plus I live with an Eskimo. So it's always very cold in my home, so I have a space heater near my work area. And that works well because for me, what I'll do once I put some of this glue on, if I really kind of don't want it to slide or to make the crystals shift around when I'm working with the multicolors, I really need them to stay in place, I will take this little patch of glue that I just got on here. I'm gonna shift a little bit more. This little patch of glue, and I am just going to put this in front of my space heater for a few seconds. Like, literally, that's all you need. You don't even need to count to 10. You can just drop it over here. 1, 2, 3, and we're good. And it gives it enough heat to where it's not so loose in a sense. My heater is pretty hot. Right now it is on 74 degrees of direct, like, heat. Not 74 on AC like that you would think with your AC unit, but 74 degrees like sun temperature. And it's pretty hot. So just by putting this in front of it, then I can immediately start working. If I don't put it in front of the heater, then I can just kind of let it sit for a minute to two. But then if you do that, you will not have the ability to correct any mistakes that you may make. So, like, let's say instead of dropping a blue here, you accidentally drop a crystal. You wait 1 to 2 minutes with this glue and that crystal is there. You're gonna have to grab your tweezers and pop it up. So, you know, that's just something to let you guys kind of see the reason why I do some things while I do a little bit more crystallization here. And I am almost done. Like, I can't wait to finish this. I've got one more really neat little thing that I want to do with this cup. It's something I've never tried before, so this will be a first for me, and I really hope that it comes out the way that I want it to. So we're gonna all cross our fingers there. So yeah. Okay, so see, I'm getting in that blue, and now again, since I am working with really small areas around the blue, I'm going to finish dropping in crystals. Now, because I am at the end, I am no longer mixing in my crystals and just grabbing whatever comes up on the pickup tool. No, at this point, I am a bit intentional about the size of the crystal that I am dropping in, because I want everything to be cohesive between the decal and the outer crystals. So because of that, I am paying very close attention to what size needs to be dropped in, and that's the size I'm going for, which is why they are all separated. Um, so, and one other thing that I want to mention before I forget, I meant to mention it earlier, is that what you might wind up finding yourself doing is going back over your work once you are done. You want to go back over your cup, top to bottom, get really close, microscope this thing if need be, because you need to make certain that you've got all of your crystals, they're all laying flat. If there are any that aren't really laying flat, then you need to pick them up before, this cup really hardens. So pick them up, grab your tweezers, pop them off the cup, and if it leaves like a small space, small enough to fit a crystal, or I'm sorry, large enough to fit a crystal, then you want to throw in a crystal there. And also, once you are done, you should definitely go back through and look for any gaps, because sometimes when you're working with crystals and you're doing this, it's kind of hard to really see where you might have mistakenly, missed a spot, or you thought that you had a crystal there and you actually didn't, or it slid out of place or something like that. So if that happened, then you'll have a spot where you can possibly fit like an SS5. If you're crazy enough to use SS3s, then drop those in there. But like, my eyeballs don't like really little things, and so for me, I can't do it. So yeah, I go down to SS5. If it needs something smaller than that, oh well, it's not gonna get in by me. But that might not be you. You might be the one that's like, hey, this brings me life. And if it does, then throw your SS3s in there. More power to you, whatever stuff's your Twinkie. But for me, I can't do it. So I use my little SS5s. I drop them in, and it does the trick for me. But this is also why it's truly important to base paint your cups, because if you are using a cup where your base paint does not match your crystal, and you have a gap that's like pretty decent size, like you can still see it. You'll be able to see that gap, and it won't really look, you'll lose the aesthetics of your cup because of that gap, and it just won't look all that great. And you don't, you want to fill it in as much as possible, and that's what you want to do. So here we go. Another little trick that I have learned over the years is when I can't get my crystals into a spot with the pickup tool, because the tip of the tool is really large, I'll tap just a little bit of glue onto the pointy end, and I'll pick up those small ones that way, and then it's like such a small space that this fits in a whole lot better than the rubber part, the rubber tip. So that is what I was doing here whenever I was dabbing this point into the glue. It was just to pick those up. So now that I've done that, let me grab one more. We'll get that in here, and then we shall continue. again, I need to do that with those blues. Okay. And again, if you missed the beginning part of the video, but you are here now watching, the blue is Sapphire AB, and the clear is just crystal, just plain crystal. I am currently swapping through some sizes here, trying to make certain I have it balanced. Whatever I do on one side, I want to try and do on the other to make certain it looks right. Grab that last little blue to go there. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see pretty well and see what I am doing. All right, there we go. Okay, and so I am just going to continue along this route. This is the harder decal because of the really thin lines between the colors, and it's fine. You just kind of have to figure your way through it, navigate your way through that process, and make it work for you. It's working for me so far, so I'm pretty happy about that. And here we go. All right. All right. So, as you can see, I am just, filling the outer edge back and forth. And before I shut this down and finish this, I am going to stitch this and give you guys a closer view, because I know I'm kind of far up on the camera, but I am going to go in a little bit closer so that you guys can see like what it looks like close up. And also, last few little tidbits in the event I decide not to come back on and do another voiceover. It is very important that once you are done, you want to get a soft bristled brush, a soft bristled cleaning brush. You want a soft bristled cleaning brush and just regular Dawn dish soap. You want to get the Dawn dish soap nice and lathered up on that soft bristled brush, and you just go over the entire cup. But you do this 3 days after. You don't want to do this like the day you finish gluing, because you'll ruin it. Don't do that. You want to do it at least like 3 days later. Give it some time to get some good drying going, and that way any stones that come off or shift or what have you, then you know that they weren't on there properly like to begin with. Okay, so then that point you can go back in and you can fill back in if necessary, and your cup should be done by then. If you don't have to fill in, then you can package up your beauty and send it off to its new home. So I'm going to give you maybe just a little bit more look, just a little bit. I'm just gonna go up just a little bit more, not a whole lot, because again, this is the harder part because of all these really thin lines. So I'm just gonna do just a little bit. And I'll catch this last fill in here in just a second, no big deal. And so here's the deal. Since I have a nice little spot over here to fill in before I get over to this blue, rather than putting this in front of the heater this time, I'm just gonna start over here. By the time I get to the blue area, the glue should be pretty well close to being dry enough that they won't shift around. So, and then I'll have to grab out some more crystals and. So, that's kind of how I can get it to give me just a little bit of time, enough to let that glue get settled so that I don't have the shifting as much when I'm ready to do on the blue part. Okay. So, okay. Okay, so yeah, I'm now going to have to grab out some more crystals in the other sizes, since I'm down to just the 20s, it seems, maybe one or two in other sizes. Yeah, so I'm gonna grab out some more. By the time I do that, I'll be able to go ahead here and I won't have to worry about the shifting. So that's one thing you don't want when you're rocking on your decal, is that shifting. But again, we're almost done, so I'm being very careful as to how much I'm actually pulling out. It'll keep me from having so much to put away. And also, you know, I don't want to get them all mixed up. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, this is just an obscure area, so I really don't care where the crystals go. It's not like I have to be very intentional about the placement on where these are going. So they can just like pop in. It's not a big deal. Not like when you're going around your decal. You really need to be careful how you are lining that up, just so that everything looks like it should and it goes and flows well together. So, okay. I am losing them. I need to sharpen my tip on this pickup tool because it is not happy. Okay, so right here I started using 16s. So I'm gonna grab one. We'll shift some of that glue over here. So I've got that 16 right there. I'm going to use the 20s on this when I get like here. Definitely here. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to put any 20s on this outside, but I am going to put the 20s right here in that middle part so that it kind of gives a nice little effect, a popping effect on that diamond. Okay. And so see, with the time it took for me to get the crystals out and to crystallize this area, now the glue is not shifting. So that's really good. And that's really what you want. You don't want them to shift. Because let me tell ya, it's no fun when they do that. Like none. And then you're like struggling to fix all of your crystals because they've just decided, hey, we want to hang out on the other side of the cup. And that's not where they belong. So, no fun. Okay, so again, we've got this little thin line that we have to get crystals in the middle of. And it's, again, not going to be good times. So, while we are picking these up, it's just not going to be fun. And remember, we still have to throw the blue over there. So yeah, it's just not going to be fun for us. But we will get it done. I chose a nice, complicated design, and I feel fabulous about that. So yeah. And as you can see, it's not cooperating. So there's that. Okay. Okay. So there we go. So it's starting to shape up. Thank goodness, because yeah, it's no fun when the crystals fight back. Okay. And so because of the clear ones that I'm dropping in here, they're kind of shifting over onto the blue, and it's okay. We just will have to adjust the sizing of the blue that we use when we are doing the remainder of the fill-in. And this little blue went to market. It does not want to stay where it belongs. So there's that. The good thing that I do love about the liquid fusion glue is you get a little scared because it's like you might have too much glue and it looks like, oh my goodness, it's gonna go all over the place and it's gonna look horrible, but it doesn't. It dries very clear. You will not notice. It's amazing. So that's always a good thing. So if you make a mistake, you've got too much, it'll be okay. It won't be like the end of the world, so yay. All right, so there we have that. And I have a little too much glue on my tip, but I am still rocking through this here. We're doing okay. This is gonna take a good bit of cleanup for me, just because again, I chose a nice complicated decal in what I like to do. I'm a complicated person apparently. So there's that. Okay, so as I continue to walk the line here, now I am back to being quite intentional about the size crystals that I drop in. There we go. Okay, let's get some of these flipped over. Okay, so we'll get those back in. These again are the 5s. Uh-oh. Okay. So we've got that in. Yeah, I just chose like the most complicated decal on the planet, but that's okay. What is life without a little challenge, right? Right. So, here we go. And it is actually working out pretty nicely. I like the way that's coming together. I cannot wait until all of it is on and I've got this fully blinged out blue diamond. Then I'll be able to tell my grandchildren how much stress this one decal put me under. We'll make a fun Christmas story. All right. All right, I am almost done on this line. Okay. Boom. There we go. All right, so as I continue to work up this way, I'm going to continue this little area here and be very careful as I move back this way, just because again, this is a super complicated decal. I don't use anything smaller than SS5, and so yeah, it's not like the easiest thing in the world to get the crystals that need to go on here, but I can do it. We will get it done. All right. So again, if you are a beginner, you may not want to do such a complicated decal. You may want to just try something smaller or easier, or stick with just a name or something like that. Or even if you do go to a decal such as this, you may want to consider enlarging it so that the spaces between the parts of the diamond aren't so slim, and it doesn't like have such a hard crystallizing that'll need to be done. But it worked out and it's okay. So now I am back to this little area where the blue is, and I've got to throw in some of those really small SS6s right up against this little wall here so we don't have a weird gap. So we'll get those thrown in, and then I'm going to move up to an SS10 here on this blue. And then right at the top of the blue, like I'm gonna go from the 10s to the 12s. Just that next size up to give just a little bit of a bolder accent there. Okay. So, like that. Then right in here, I'm gonna drop in some more of those 6s. And then remember, because of where we are in the diamond, we have to drop in more, like right on this center line, and then we'll probably come and drop like a 10 here. See that? And we'll drop another 10. And then again, that is for like definition. We really want to make it pop. Like that's just for a design definition. Okay. Let me pick up a little bit more blue here. Okay. Now I am also not going all the way to the tip of the design on the blue, because that's giving me the space that I need to drop in the clear, because it is kind of overlapping onto the decal, but it's okay so long as you have the crystals coming in straight, you're fine. Okay, so let me finish getting this top corner done really quickly. We'll get that knocked out. I'm going to throw a small blue one right here in this little corner, and then I'll throw another small clear right there. Again, we're back to where you want to be truly intentional with your color sizes, to make certain you're really getting the pop, okay, from your design. And so there you go. As we continue to fill that in, the next thing is to come back through on this line here. So you want to grab this and get those little clears in there, right on that line. And it's going in nice and perfect, to be honest. They're lining up like exactly the way I hoped, which is awesome. And we've got this really little blue here that I do want to have that accent. And I'm gonna need some more clear. I'm gonna use a lot of these, so I'm gonna dump out a good bit. And we shall continue on, because again, here we've got these, and then we also have to get them right underneath that little blue diamond that we just dropped there. We want to make certain that those go like right underneath that, because that is a good little accent. So we need to define that. And we are almost done with this little top corner. Uh-oh. Okay, get that up out of there. I think my glue started to dry a bit on me. Remember how I said if you let that sit there for a little too long, you won't be able to, do any sliding. And because I was trying to slide that, it did not work. So there is that. But we're just gonna keep going. I'll drop in some more glue there in just a hot second. Yeah, I need to drop in. So we'll drop in a little bit more right here. Don't need a whole lot, just enough to be able to drop in the few little crystals you need. And if necessary, have a little bit of hang time here to slide them around. Okay, dropped in that. I need another one of these really small ones to go like there. Then another one on the other side of that blue. Then I can do like a 12 right there, and another 16. I don't want to do a 16. Let me just throw in a 10 here. And then I'll throw a 5 right there in that middle. So there you have it. Okay, so as I continue to work this way, again, it is not going to be an easy process to work with this diamond. It is a very tough decal. Truly challenging myself tonight, and that's fine. Yeah, I love it. So as I continue to work through this little decal here, no worries, I'm going to make it happen. Just a little bit more. I kind of want you guys to see where I'm going to place the SS20 in the blue, just so you can see what I mean when I say you want to give your design definition. Okay, so we're gonna keep with the clears right here. I want those on first because I don't want to have to try and slide them. I need them to go exactly where I need them to be. And I want the other crystals around them to kind of bump up to those crystals. So I have like an outline of where I'm working and the parameters I have to work within. Which again is not always the easiest when you are dealing with a very small spot and the small crystal. And this one is not cooperating, so we'll take it off. Give myself just a little bit more adhesive in that area. I think that's the reason why it was not working well. It just didn't go. Okay. So I'm not gonna hold you guys for too much longer. This is really a long video, and I try to be as thorough as possible when I am doing these videos because so many people ask me so many questions, and I just would like to answer them all and to be able to walk you through like exactly what I'm doing and what I have done to achieve the look that I get. So if you've made it this far, like, you're amazing, and I love you, and I thank you. So do me a favor, like and subscribe to my channel, and I will do my best to continue with getting you guys videos and tutorials and help tips, etc., etc. So okay, so we are here. So remember I said I'm going to leave the outside with the small ones, and once we get to these inner crystals, I'm going to do some definition. Not on this one here, but on the inner diamond. So we're going to start with some of these big ones. Like, that big one is like, that's it. Okay, we can't get another one there. So I'm going to drop in like maybe a 10. See if that can fit there. Boom, it does, and that's grand. And then we'll drop in a 10 on the other side. And then we still have enough room to drop the line of the clear. So that's perfect. Now up here, I'm gonna use the 16 here, not all the way to the end. We want to leave space for the outline of the clear. And another 16 and another 16. And then I'm going to drop in a 10 above that 16, and then a 6 right here, and another one on like above the 2 16s. Okay, so there's some real good definition with that larger SS20 here, and then the smaller ones are around it, so that middle part will really kind of stand out, and that's what you want with your design. I'm gonna come and do the same here, dropping another 20. It won't accommodate another one. However, I can put one there, then I'll come down and I can put another one. So that's 3 20s right there. And then I will throw a 16 here. I will throw another 16 here. Then above those two, we're gonna put in a 5, okay? So again, you've got really good depth, that you are showcasing here with the placement. So crystal size and crystal placement is very important when you are rocking a decal. It may not always seem that way, especially if you're doing a scatter method, but it is truly important to make your design pop the way you envision it. So that was a 10. I'm going to drop one more 10, and then I'm going to go back to that 5 and just kind of get that in there, or the 6, I'm sorry. Get that in there, and then get this last one in. It's not going to stay because it needs more glue, but that is how I'm going to go throughout the rest of this on this diamond. So these next few spots here will definitely have the 20s, and then I'll be done with those. And the rest of these, I'll use the other sizes. We'll close this gap off, and then I will be back to show you guys the finished full tumbler, and then the last little oomph that'll make this cup really pop. So again, thanks for coming this far. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in a hot second.